I hurried to the Prophet, but before I could reach him, a man came running like the wind. As they reached the coast, they encountered a massive Dead Sea creature. Using his teeth, he pulled out the first ring, and with it, one of his front teeth fell to the ground. Abu Ubaidah ibn al-Jarrah, the trustworthy one of this ummah. Welcome back to 60 Men Changed History. Who is this man whom the Prophet appointed as a commander over an army that included Abu Bakr and Umar? Who is this tall, lean man with a face etched with nobility, a light beard, and 2 missing front teeth? Indeed, who is this strong and trustworthy companion of whom Umar ibn al-Khattab said while on his deathbed, "If Abu Ubaidah ibn al-Jarrah was alive, I would have appointed him as my successor, and if my Lord asked me about him, I would have said, I chose the trustworthy one of God, the trustworthy one of his messenger. It is none other than Abu Ubaidah Amir ibn Abdullah al-Jarrah." Birth of Abu Ubaidah ibn al-Jarrah. Abu Ubaidah was born in year 583, which was 40 years before Hijrah, and thus he was 13 years younger than the Prophet. His life was a reflection of his trustworthiness and loyalty to Allah and his Prophet. A life dedicated to Allah. Abu Ubaidah embraced Islam at the hands of Abu Bakr al-Siddiq in the early days of Islam. He migrated to Abyssinia in the second migration and later returned to stand beside the Prophet in Badr, Uhud, and all the other battles. After the Prophet's passing, he continued his unwavering loyalty alongside the Caliph Abu Bakr and later with Umar, casting aside the temptations of this world and embracing the responsibilities of his faith with humility, piety, and an unshakable sense of duty. The trustworthy one. When he pledged his life to the cause of Allah, Abu Ubaidah fully understood the magnitude of this commitment, and he was ready to sacrifice everything. His dedication earned him the distinguished title that the Prophet bestowed upon him. Every nation has a trustworthy one, and the trustworthy one of this nation is Abu Ubaidah ibn al-Jarrah. The Battle of Uhud, protection of the Prophet. During the Battle of Uhud, Abu Ubaidah sensed the enemy's determination to assassinate the Prophet. Wielding his sword with loyalty, he fought fiercely, always keeping an eye on the Prophet's safety. Whenever he saw danger approaching the messenger, he would rush forward, defeating the enemies before they could cause any harm. At one intense moment, a stray arrow hit the Prophet's face, and blood began to flow. Abu Ubaidah rushed to the Prophet, his heart pounding as he saw the Prophet wiping the blood from his face. Abu Bakr describes the scene. On the day of Uhud, 2 rings of the Prophet's helmet pierced his cheek. I hurried to the Prophet, but before I could reach him, a man came running like the wind. It was Abu Ubaidah. He asked me to let him remove the rings from the Prophet's face. Using his teeth, he pulled out the first ring, and with it, one of his front teeth fell to the ground. He pulled out the second ring, and another tooth fell out. From that day on, Abu Ubaidah was known as the man without his front teeth. Abu Ubaidah's leadership. The expedition of Al-Qabt. In the month of Rajab, during the 8th year of Hijrah, the Prophet, peace be upon him, appointed Abu Ubaidah as the commander of the Al-Qabt expedition, leading over 300 fighters. The only provisions the army had were a sack of dates. This expedition was part of the Prophet's ongoing military strategy to weaken Quraysh economically and spread the message of Islam far and wide. A lesson in survival. Jabir bin Abdullah, one of the participants, narrates the hardship they faced. The Prophet, peace be upon him, sent us with Abu Ubaidah to intercept a Quraysh caravan. Our only provision was a bag of dates, with each man receiving 1 date a day. When asked how they survived, Jabir said, we would suck on it like a child sucks and drink water over it. It was enough to sustain us till nightfall. Abu Ubaidah's wisdom shone through during this time. He gathered all the provisions, distributed them equally among the fighters, and maintained their morale, demonstrating a lesson learned directly from the Prophet that in times of crisis, unity and sharing bring blessings. A miraculous provision. As they reached the coast, they encountered a massive Dead Sea creature, a giant fish called Al-Anbar. Abu Ubaidah, after deliberation, declared, "We are the messengers of the Prophet, and we are on the path of Allah, so eat." The army ate from the fish for an entire month, and they even used its massive bones for shelter. Upon returning to Medina, the soldiers shared the story with the Prophet, peace be upon him, who smiled and said, "It is sustenance Allah has granted you. Do you still have any of its meat with you?" They offered him some, and he ate it. The wisdom of leadership. Abu Ubaidah's leadership in this difficult mission is a testament to his character. He embodied the traits of patience, wisdom, and compassion. By sharing what little they had and leading with humility, Abu Ubaidah ensured the success of the mission. Scholars like Imam Nawawi and Ibn Hajar later highlighted the lessons in this story. The importance of a just leader and the blessings that come from unity and sharing. The mission to Najran. A man truly trusted by the Prophet. The Prophet, peace be upon him, loved Abu Ubaidah deeply and trusted him greatly. When a delegation from Najran came to the Prophet, asking for someone to teach them Islam, the Prophet said, "I will send with you a man who is trustworthy, truly trustworthy." The companions each hoped they would be chosen. Omar, may Allah be pleased with him, said, "I never desired leadership except that day, hoping I would be chosen." After the Prophet completed the prayer, he looked around and then called out, "Abu Ubaidah ibn al-Jarrah, come forth." This was not just a testament to Abu Ubaidah's trustworthiness, but a reflection of his humility, dedication, and unwavering commitment to his faith and his people. Modesty of Abu Ubaidah in Syria. When Abu Ubaidah was appointed as the commander of the Muslim forces in Syria, he held authority over vast armies. Yet, his humility remained unshaken. The people of Syria admired his strength and greatness, but Abu Ubaidah gathered them and said, "O people, I am but a Muslim from Quraysh. There is no one among you, red or black, whom I do not wish to be better than me in piety." The final visit of Umar. When Umar ibn al-Khattab visited Syria, he asked to meet his brother. "Who?" they asked. "Abu Ubaidah ibn al-Jarrah," he replied. When Abu Ubaidah arrived, Umar embraced him and followed him to his humble home. Inside there was nothing but a sword, a shield, and a saddle. Umar smiled and said, "Why haven't you taken for yourself what the people do?" Abu Ubaidah responded, "O commander of the faithful, this is enough for me to reach my resting place." The passing of Abu Ubaidah. During the plague of Amwaz in 639 AD, the news reached Umar that Abu Ubaidah had passed away. He was 56 years old. With eyes full of tears, Umar whispered, "If I had wished for anything, I would have wished for a house filled with men like Abu Ubaidah." Abu Ubaidah, the guardian of this ummah, rests beneath the soil he purified from the oppression of the Persians and Persian. His legacy is not confined to the knowledge of his burial place, for the fragrance of his life continues to guide us. May the earth forever honor the soul of Abu Ubaidah ibn al-Jarrah, the man who embodied trust and humility. If you like this video, please do not subscribe and do not share it with others. We must stop good things spreading on the net. Together we can rebuild a just and vibrant world. Tawheed Foundation. 60 men changed history.